A warm welcome and thank you for tuning in to Reporters here on France 24. For today's edition, we head to the Brazilian city of Manaus, which is these days the scene of deadly violence between warring gangs fighting for control of the drug trade. Well, the large Amazonian city is situated close to Colombia and is rapidly turning into a hub for narcotics. Faced with particularly dangerous gangs, Brazil's police are struggling to stem the illegal trade. We bring you an exclusive report by Nicolas Ransom, France 24's correspondent in Brazil.
Another murderous night in Manaus. Guilherme Batista was only 18 years old.
According to information given to us by investigators, this man had a meeting with another man right here. He was shot dead with 3 shots to the head and arms.
Adogio Jr. is a journalist. He's on the crime beat following police in Manaus. He's out on the streets every night along with his cameraman. He's noticed a dramatic increase in the number of deadly shootings in the Amazonian capital, between 2 and 4 each night. More than 70% of them are drug-related.
This neighborhood is a red zone. It's really dangerous here. Trafficking and drugs are omnipresent. It looks like this was yet another settling of scores.
Once a quiet city known as the Paris of the tropics, Manaus is now at the mercy of drug gangs and unimaginable levels of violence. All the more so since a pact between Brazil's 2 main drug cartels was broken. On the one side, the Comando Vermelho, the CV gang is one of the most dangerous Brazilian criminal organizations. It is allied with the FDN, the Family of the North, which controls drug trafficking in about 80% of Manaus. On the other side, the PCC is seeking to expand its presence in the Amazon region to directly supply Colombian and Peruvian cartels. There have been more than 400 murders in Manaus so far this year. They are all linked to the battle for control of the illegal drug trade. Nearly 400 deaths, 64 of them in one day. On the 1st of January 2017, members of the FDN escaped from their cells inside Manaus' largest prison. They attacked rivals from the PCC and filmed the carnage on their mobile phones. It was one of the worst massacres in the history of Brazil. In addition to the killings, more than 180 prisoners escaped during the Manaus prison massacre. The brutality of the prison riot shocked people at home and abroad. And now the people of Manaus live in fear.
Here is tonight's plan.
Colonel Walter Cruz is planning something big tonight in order to get the situation back under control. 600 extra police officers are being deployed in addition to the number normally on the streets.
This operation has been dubbed Operation Eagle. We are going to take over the town. There will be uniformed police everywhere, especially in the north, where the crime rate is the highest. We will go where most of the murders are taking place. You know, crime adapts fast and depends on multiple factors. And it's true that jailbreaks are making things harder. That's why we're all here.
We are following the COI, an elite police force in Manaus, similar to America's SWAT police. They've just left their base. They've come across 2 young men on motorbikes who refuse to cooperate.
Leave that there.
Tracking fugitives is not the main mission of these special units, but since the rebellion, police are doing the best they can to stop escaped inmates. The search is thorough. Their identities are verified. Tattoos are examined.
You've only got that one?
No, I have another one here.
The gang's initials, a symbol. Often it's their tattoos that give them away. These young men are not on the wanted list. They are allowed to continue on their way, but only after a stern warning.
When you hear the siren and we ask you to stop, you stop.
Otherwise, you're going to die for nothing, especially when you see our black car. Otherwise, you're going to wind up in a coffin. You get it?
Yes, sir.
There are still more than 100 fugitives, so our team tries to collect as much information as possible to keep abreast of the situation.
They stop another suspect. The Tactical Force Police calls in the special unit as a backup.
Rebecca, it's Joao who snitched on me.
That's Rebecca there in red.
That woman is my mother. I want to know how she's doing.
It was Joao, Rebecca. Go ahead, take me away immediately. Since you've called me, you may as well just take me away right now.
This woman is hysterical. She's been caught red-handed. Lieutenant Bentes's men have found almost 10 kilos of drugs in a house that she has the keys for. The drugs are worth around 30,000 euros.
That's cocaine, that's weed, that's oxy, that's resin, and that there is skunk. It's a really strong form of cannabis.
About 7,000 doses in total.
The owner of these drugs is called Mazinho.
Mazinho is one of the FDN gang leaders. He runs drug trafficking operations in this neighborhood.
This place functions as a depot. It's clear from everything here that this woman was not acting alone. Other people must have been working with her to wrap and distribute the stuff, because there are really lots of sachets.
Preparing all this stuff must take a long time.
Brazilian drug traffickers run their businesses like clockwork. It's 3 o'clock in the morning when the policeman sees the drugs and a car pulls out.
So you see, that's how it is. They're working round the clock. We catch them red-handed and the lawyer arrives straight away.
A lawyer?
Yes, it always happens fast.
To boost sales and influence, gang leaders guarantee their workers permanent protection. Good evening. Excuse me, I'm a French journalist. Are you this woman's lawyer?
Yes, I am. Wait a minute.
And you've come here in the middle of the night, just like that?
Sorry?
You turn up here in the middle of the night?
We come whenever we're called, but excuse me a minute, I have to speak to the babysitter who's with my son.
We won't make further headway with this lawyer, but her client was already imprisoned in 2011 for drug trafficking. If she's found to be guilty again, she'll get 15 years behind bars. This is a great catch for Lieutenant Bentes, but it's a drop in the water when it comes to the thousands of kilos disseminated through the town and throughout the region.
It's clear that the trafficking is intensifying in a major way, due in particular to this war between the factions. So the war against drugs is difficult but not impossible. We keep fighting.
The authorities want to weaken the gangs at their roots inside the prisons in order to stop the drug war. But the task is difficult, as you can see from these images. Using a hand signal, these inmates show their allegiance to their gang, the CV, the Comando Vermelho. The prisoners try to get a look at us using mirrors and CDs as reflectors. It's extremely rare for anyone to come and film in a Brazilian prison, let alone this one. At the beginning of January, 4 inmates belonging to the PCC gang were decapitated here. France 24 is the only news media to have entered this prison since the tragedy. It's from here, behind prison bars, that the drug laws run their drug trafficking operations and order assassinations. For around 8 long hours, the police inspect the prison, going through every cell with a fine-tooth comb. 1,300 prisoners are moved to the courtyard wearing only their underwear while their cells are inspected. For security reasons, we are kept at a distance. But soon the trolley load of illicit goods appears. Kilo upon kilo of banned items are discovered.
I write everything down. I separate the drugs, the mobile phones. Yes, you can put that here. And that? Which cell does that come from?
From number 7 on the floor above.
Ropes, mobile phones, mixers, a pot of paint, a loudspeaker, spoons. The guards find all sorts of things. Some finds are more surprising than others, like this book on organised crime.
They're pieces of evidence collected as part of the fight against criminal organisations, so this is brilliant.
The administrative staff in the prison have been carrying out searches like this every month since January.
They study their cases, how they should act to seem innocent and how they can avoid jail time. Even I'm surprised, and I'm a trained lawyer. Sometimes I'm in court and the criminals seem to know more than I do.
And the prison guards get one surprise after another. These prisoners wearing yellow vests have dug a tunnel using makeshift spades. They were hoping to escape. They will now spend the next few days in solitary confinement. In Brazil, prisons are often managed by private companies and many prison wardens are corrupt. So who dictates the law? Are the prisons secure? We went to ask CLEITMAN COELHO, the new chief of the prison system in the state of Amazonas.
We introduced new security measures, but organized crime keeps evolving at the same time, so I can't be sure that there will not be other crises. We're trying to change habits that have been in place for years. We had to change procedures because the prisoners thought they were in charge. Now it's not the case anymore. We know that prisoners could rise up again, but we've made good progress.
Prison administrators are trying to deal with the situation with the help of the secret services. The Secret Service branch that fights against organised crime has opened the doors of its listening station to us. Day and night, police are transcribing conversations between the main gang leaders. The aim to keep an eye on their activities in prison and also collect information that could help intercept eventual drug shipments from other countries, Colombia and Peru.
What they fight over are the trafficking routes. That's what makes the money flow. The drugs which arrive in the border region of Tabatinga come all the way here, and then they're sent to Europe, to the US, to the south of Brazil, to Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. So whoever has control of the trafficking route has the power and the money.
According to these experts, control of the Amazonian drug corridor is worth some €500 million a year. That's what makes traffickers seek weapons to protect their merchandise.
Since the FARC peace process started in Colombia, our operations unit has already seized heavy weapons that were used by the guerrilla. So there's no doubt that with the end of the FARC, many of the weapons made their way to our territory. Arms trafficking ensures the security of the drug trade. There are also many paramilitaries who are no longer working for the guerrilla and who are now contracted directly by traffickers to ensure the safe transportation of their drug merchandise.
A new development that doesn't take long to verify. We meet with Adolfo Jr. at the Medical Legal Institute in Manaus.
The bodies of 2 Colombians who shot at federal police agents in Urucara, 200 kilometers from Manaus, are arriving. According to our information, the federal police were checking some cargo, and the 2 criminals, 2 armed Colombians, exchanged gunfire with federal police.
The traffickers were armed with 5.56 caliber Galley assault rifles, weapons that were common amongst the FARC. The police found 800 kilos of cocaine in the cargo. Adolfo Jr. is worried about the increase in violence.
More and more often, police are being shot at by high-caliber weapons and even heavy weapons. So over recent times, more and more Colombians are ending up dead due to this drug war the authorities are battling with. The
Despite the huge effort that's being put into policing 14,000 kilometers of frontiers, the Brazilian government is going to have a hard time to tackle this spike in violence alone without the help of the international community. The drug trade is still going strong here in the heart of the Amazon.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you at the same time next week for another edition of Reporters here on France 24.